Here's an interesting little knife for you. This is a fruit knife from the early 1900s. Now, there's a few things that makes this very special. It being so old is one of them, this being 100 years old, therefore it's an antique. Not only that, let's talk about the blade steel. Thing is with that, there is no blade steel. No blade steel? Well, what is it then? Silver. We're using silver for the blade on this pocket knife. 925 sterling silver to be precise. Now that just means it's not 100% pure silver. Pure silver being 9995 silver, which is the purest silver you can get. So this is mostly silver. I think it's like 92% silver and the rest is copper or something like that. I don't actually know. I don't really know much about silver, to be honest. What I do know is that right there that you're looking at is called the hallmark. That is stamped on there by an assay office, which verifies it is what it says it is, basically. I think it's actually a legal requirement for all silver to have that. I could be wrong though. I don't know enough about silver. But you can see 4 marks there: a crown, a lion, what looks like a letter P, and the letters TM. Okay, so the crown and the lion means that it's made in Sheffield. Letter P, according to my dad, he does jewellery making with silver, is the date. So he reckons around, well, the same date as I said there, the early 1900s. Now the seller specified, I think, 1907. So it is a pretty old knife regardless, and that TM is the maker's initials, Tomas Marples. So as you can see here, it is a truly tiny knife that is absolutely showing how old it is. Now, the interesting thing about this knife is it's actually showing there's no damage on it. Now, yeah, it's pretty well worn, it's rusty, it's got pitting. It's in good condition though, in my opinion. Nothing that I can't really sort, I would think. Now, the thing with this knife is a lot of the time when you see knives like this, the blades are pretty worn down. Some of them you can't even see the hallmark. And the scales or the covers is cracked or there's parts missing or chipped off. This, I believe, is mother of pearl. I think it is real mother of pearl and not that plastic stuff. We've got what is essentially the shield, which is just a strip of metal. I would imagine that's pinned in and not just glued in. And you can see it is a 3-pin construction. We've got what I would assume to be nickel silver bolsters. Now let's have another look at that blade. Notice how thin that is. Now I'd assume that would make slicing through apples and such a lot easier. How they would have sharpened a knife like this, or even if they did sharpen a knife like this, not really sure. Suppose it would just depend on who owns the thing, but if there's a correct way of sharpening, I am unsure. I suppose you could just take it to a stone like any other knife, but I think that might be a bit too aggressive considering how soft silver actually is. And again, having a look at how thin that blade is, it should come to no surprise that that is very, very flexible. Now I also noticed that the tip is bent. The seller, which by the way I got this on Etsy, did say that the tip is bent a little bit. And we can see that there is some pit, and it's not too bad. It could be a whole lot worse. And if we fold it halfway, the worst of the rust is right there where it folds away, as well as on that back spring of the slip joint. Now I think that's brass liners with those nickel silver bolsters. I'm considering trying to clean up this knife because I don't really see any real reason to keep it a mess like this. This is something that I'm probably never going to use because of how old it is, and I have absolutely zero use for a knife like this. When it comes to cutting fruit, well, you already know I prefer to use a Swiss Army knife anyway. think this is just a cool little collectible. Now, the sort of places you could usually find knives like this is at auctions. You quite often see knives like this at auctions. And really that's the only place that you seem to see them. That and antique shops. I don't think I've really seen them anywhere else other than Etsy. Right, well, I think that pretty much concludes this video. I don't think there's that much more to say on this lovely little knife. In fact, did I do a size comparison? I don't think I did. Just going to quickly compare it here to a Victorinox Ranger anyway, a standard 91mm Swiss Army knife. And a Case Medium Stockman, the small pen blade. So there's a good idea on how small this knife is. It is honestly quite a small knife. I mean, if you think that a medium Stockman is small, my god, is this thing tiny. It's not quite as small as a SD Classic from Victorinox. I've got a Victorinox Mini Champ here actually. Let's just, if I could find the knife, compare sizes. So a bit bigger than a 58mm Swiss Army knife. Well, anyway, that pretty much concludes this video. What do you think of this little knife? Do you think it's interesting? Do you have one? Do you want one? What's your thoughts? Let me know. I'll see you later.